Hey, we are with Jessica Hogan, Chief Marketing Officer, co-founder of Cameron Hughes Wine. She's also Chief Digital Officer now that Vintage Wine Estates has purchased the company. Yes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
She happened to be in town and we grabbed her because there's so much happening in the wine world these days.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to shoot some topics at you. What's the latest trend in wine that you're seeing?
Pinot's still super hot.
It's the best.
Pinot's exploding. Lots from Washington, lots from Oregon, really becoming big players in Pinot Noir. Cabernet, always strong. Red blends. Red blends are super hot. 10 years ago, you could not get caught in the part of the aisle where red blends were. They were in the back, and now they're in the front. They're just super balanced, really easy to drink. So in terms of trends, those are the big varietal trends.
I have to say, like, you know, a lot of people blame the millennials for a lot of things, but I actually credit them for opening up the doors to all these new and different wines. They want to try things.
They're definitely way more experimental. They still don't represent the majority of consumption.
No, fair enough.
However, they are way more experimental. They're way more open to trying new wines, and they are specifically interested in direct-to-consumer. They are growing up on the web, buying on the web, and so for a company like ours, it's fantastic.
You are all direct-to-consumer.
We are.
Or majority, I should say, direct-to-consumer, right? You're even on Groupon, which I think is amazing.
Yes.
So how do you feel about what just happened with Amazon? Amazon walking away from wine. Why?
So I'm...
Bad for you, good for you, first of all?
Well, it's not going to affect our business because it was a small portion of our total online business, but for small suppliers in Napa and Sonoma, it is devastating. Because Amazon represented a platform where they could speak directly to their customers, sell directly to their customers without building big infrastructure. For a guy that I just heard about who just lost his house in the fires in Napa, his entire business, direct business, was on Amazon. So the wine marketplace going down is it's pretty devastating.
Can you give us the 30-second spiel on why Amazon's walking away?
Sure. So they just made the purchase of Whole Foods Market, $12 billion purchase or acquisition. With that comes alcohol licenses that Whole Foods owned in order to sell retail wine. Prohibition prohibits a entity that owns an adult beverage license to also sell online, to have a license to sell online.
Let's reiterate what you just said. Prohibition.
90 years ago. It's crazy. It's unbelievable.
It's the only industry left that follows arcane rules like
completely. And this is a big win for wholesalers. It really is, because basically what's happened now is that they are forcing Amazon's hand to move into Amazon Fresh and to their Amazon delivery services. In order to receive wine, you now have to, the wholesaler sells to the retailer then sells to the customer. So you get that 3-tier markup, whereas before you weren't getting that 3-tier markup on the marketplace.
Right, that 3-tier system will be the death of the small wine vineyard yet.
I mean, it's tough. I think that we're seeing more agility in e-commerce platforms. I am seeing that more wineries are wanting to learn how to go direct to consumer just purely for survival.
It took them long enough.
It's a tough world out there because wholesalers have consolidated. It's very hard to get representation, and for these smaller guys, it's a big deal.
So speaking of survival, can you give us the state of the state on the California fires?
Yes.
Because you are based in San Francisco.
We are based, our office is in San Francisco. Our headquarters are in Santa Rosa, which were really, really impacted. Right. Not specifically to our warehouse or our offices, which are in the main part of the city, but specifically our employees who lost quite a few homes in the Fountainhood and Coffee neighborhoods, a 6-minute ride back to their office. Homes completely gone. Homes in Sonoma and Napa, lots of residential damage. Not too much winery damage, and as we've been telling everybody, and which is the truth, harvest was done. Pretty much done, 90% done. Grapes were picked. Everything was in fermentation. So in terms of smoke taint, I don't think anybody needs to worry about that.
That's great news.
The future is really just what the production is going to look like for that Sonoma, Napa area, which produces high-end wines.
You mean, will the vines be able to come back?
The wines will be able to come back. The issue is you have a workforce that doesn't have homes. I mean, in our own particular office, about 15% of our employees had some kind of loss of their home, their families or themselves, and we actually have been running these really great GoFundMe campaigns for our employees. It's really interesting. After I talked to a couple of employees who lost their homes, I said, what do you need? What do you need? And they said, we don't need people to donate stuff to us because we have nowhere to put it. What we need are gift cards to go get underwear and toothbrushes. And so I talked to our head of sales, and I said, let's start a GoFundMe campaign just to get gift cards.
Because I was going to ask you, what should people be doing other than going out and buying wines from Napa and Sonoma?
Absolutely, visit.
Go buy their wines,
yes.
And apparently Europe's going to have a shortage, which is just fine, because then you could go buy California wines. What else should they be doing?
Go to Heart of the Vine on GoFundMe, and it's a campaign that we have been running. Vintage Wine Estates has been running. We actually have just raised $250,000. All deployed in gift cards.
Amazing.
To employees, first responders, and those affected by the fires, just to get cash in their pocket. HEB is going to be matching $100,000 to that $250,000, which is a grocery chain in Texas. So it's been wonderful, and the community has really come together. But it's devastating. I mean, it's just ash. Many people just left with literally the clothes on their back.
It's so awful. All right, everyone needs to go buy wine from California and donate, to say the least. This is to them.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica.